Yeah. Hey everyone, welcome to my video, Deliberate Actions. Manny here from Iconz Rugby. If you're on now, just let me know if you can hear me. I've got my little Bluetooth set up. Hopefully, it just had a little bit of feedback that I wasn't quite loud enough, so I just really wanted to make sure that I'm getting those gold nuggets out there for people to take away and hopefully get some good out of it. You know, that's what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to achieve at Iconz Rugby. Help everyone out to achieve your goals or whatever it is that you're working towards. So I guess tonight I'm going to talk about being deliberate, how to be more deliberate, and are all your actions right now deliberate actions? It's a word that we use in our Iconz mentoring a lot. We talk to our boys normally biannually, and everything is about setting up your goals, and then every little thing being deliberate towards those goals, and helping you achieve your outcome, whatever that particular outcome is. So I did a little bit of research on this, and because I really wanted to sort of understand, okay, well, what does the words actually mean? We throw them around a lot, and I thought, okay, well, let's do a Google search, let's look up the actual meaning. So deliberate is something that's done consciously and intentionally, careful and unhurried. Action is something done to achieve an aim. So straight away, you know, what I'm sort of thinking is, whatever this goal is that you've come up with, you know, relating to rugby, relating to life, maybe you're trying to get a promotion at work, whatever that might be, it's so rammed home, it's so thought about it, that basically everything you do, you're thinking about that particular goal. You're thinking, okay, well, how is this particular action that I'm doing right now affecting my goal? How am I getting to the place that I want to be? Okay, unconsciously. And you know, the action is simple. It's just something that you do, something that you do that's adding towards that goal. You know, we talk about being a professional rugby player, but more importantly, it's about being a really good contributor in your community. We want to build men and women who are part of the community and help that community progress. It just so happens that for us, rugby is the medium, and that's where the most thing is. So, you know, the biggest thing, I think deliberate action can be sort of broke down to a couple of points. Without these points, it's really hard to have deliberate action. Firstly, I think you really need to be structured. Okay, you need to be organised, and you need to be disciplined. Those things are all past tense. They're not current. They're not in the present. And it's funny to think about points to accomplish something in the past tense. And I think it's interesting because it means that even though that's simply a point, it's about building that point. So, you know, structured, it's a structure, okay? How do you build a structure? You lay your foundations, you put up your framework, you close it in, you put a door on it, you lock it. You know, there's this part to it. You know, or alternatively, you can talk about it. You can talk about it as building something, whether that be in the physical sense or rhetorical sense, with regards to being organised. It's about arranging. It's about being systematic. It's about putting something in order. And everyone knows what discipline is. You know, you're disciplined on the footy field. You're disciplined when you're driving a car. You don't want to get those speeding fines. Thank you, Hotter Sevens. Yeah, Iconz got a couple of speeding fines. In Hotter Sevens wasn't the best getting 3 speeding fines in one day, but yeah, it's about adhering to a code of behaviour. It's about training yourself to do something in a controlled and habitual way. Okay, it's, you know, and that being disciplined is funny because that really very easily links back to being deliberately. You know, all of a sudden you're just doing something unconsciously. It just becomes part of everything you do, whether that be, you know, drinking 9 glasses of water, whether that be touching that line every time you're doing a sprint. It's something that's learned. It's something that just becomes natural. It's something that you train yourself. At Iconz, Kurto and myself, we're really big in self-development right now. And I just registered myself on at work for a TED Talk. You know, I think it's very important. It's very important to develop yourself and build yourself. And I think there's a form of discipline in that. It's a discipline to not be satisfied with the status quo. Okay, and it's very easy. It's very easy to be comfortable. It's very easy to just continue doing what you're doing, living life, accepting that it is what it is. When there's so much more, you can when it comes down to it, there's so much more out there. And the reason why I think deliberate action is so important, and the why is deliberate action so important? Why is you know, working on being structured, being organised, being disciplined so important? It's because you don't have any excuses. The biggest thing that I hear from guys who want to make it is excuses. The biggest thing that I hear from people who didn't make it, you know, it's an excuse. Do you want to be a shoulda, coulda, woulda? You know, I've got cousins, I've got uncles, I've got friends. You know, there's plenty of people out there. Everyone knows someone. Shoulda, coulda, woulda? Or the person that did everything they could. The person that was deliberate in everything that they could do to make that goal, whatever that is. You know, it's interesting. You think about JT, you know, smallest guy, unsigned rugby league player, playing out at Toowoomba. Cam Smith, Logan Brothers, unsigned as an 18-year-old. Broncos didn't want him. Or, you know, you go talk about John Eales, talk about Brad Thorne. You know, they're just people who had no excuses, people who did everything necessary. You know, I'm sure JT kicked, you know, 100 kicks at goal a day. 100 kicks at goal a day. He was so focused. He did that before school, he did that after school. He did that before training, he did that after training. He was disciplined. He made sure that he did 100 kicks. If he was on 99 and he hurt his leg and, you know, he was feeling a bit sore, he'd probably take the kick in to the 10-metre line and just nudge it over. He still did 100 kicks. He found a way. This is what he did. He was deliberate. His action was, I'm going to do 100 kicks. My structure is I'm going to hit it off the 10, 20, 30 sideline. And he did it every time. He did 100 every time. He was disciplined. Coach said, I want you to do this. Sorry, coach, I've got to do my 100 kicks, then I'm going to do what you told me to do. I've got to do this. This is what I've got to do. You know, the best example, another example that I think is awesome is when people talk to Brad Thorne, and he was saying, okay, you're still playing rugby at freaking 40 or something. He was ridiculous, something ridiculous. And he said, well, you know, I was always going to be a rugby player. I always wanted to be a rugby player. So when I was walking home as a kid, rather than walking on the concrete footpath, I walked on the grass. I knew that wasn't good for my ankles. I knew that wasn't good for my knees. I knew it wasn't good for my back. So I was deliberate. I knew I was going to be a footballer. I knew that was going to affect me playing football, affect my longevity. I'm going to walk on the grass. So don't be a shoulda, coulda, woulda, you know. Don't blame it on getting injured because you weren't prepped. Don't blame it on someone external to you. Don't blame it on coach not liking you or not giving you an opportunity. You know, it's all about having deliberate action. If you're ready, if you're prepared, if you've stuck to a structure, built yourself up, if you've been organised to make sure that you can take care of those things, and then you were disciplined that whole time, you're going to have no excuses. So it's really important. It's really important. Sorry about that, guys. I just had one of our co-owners at ITC walk in. But yeah, where was I? Really important. So, you know, it's one of those things. A lot of people, you can sort of take this as much as you want. You can look into it as much as you want. You can be as hard on it or as easy off it. You know, like I sort of think of myself, and I think of the time where I look and I go, okay, well, I had my best year of football, and I think back, okay, well, what did I do? What happened? And it all happened out of a really negative scenario. I just played my first year of Premier Grade, played for East. I played 6 games of Premier Grade 2 off the bench, and then played Prem Reserve for the finals. We didn't win. But yeah, I had a good year. I was only 19 years old, turning 20. And there was an opportunity there for me to sort of step up and go, okay, I can make a Premier spot my own. You know, I played 6 games, 2 off the bench. Coach gave me some pretty good reviews. He said, Manuel, you need to work on your foot speed. I thought I was pretty fast. I think it was more to do with the fact that I was too heavy. You're a bit overweight, need to work on your fitness. I came from a league background. And I sort of turned over the ball a lot. So it's like, you've got to work on your ball control and retaining possession. I was a centre, I crashed the ball a lot. Turning over wasn't a really good idea. And so it gave me these things to work on, and I didn't do anything. I had fun with my mates, even though in the back of the head I was sort of like, okay, yeah, I'm going to play Premier Grade, yeah. Next year, this is what I want to do. What do I actually do to achieve this? And I didn't really do anything. I actually came back to pre-season, probably 3 or 4 kilos heavier. Hadn't done any pre-season. Rocked up for the first trial. It was at Jeeps. I played full game for Prem Reserves. Got the call up for the last 20 minutes of the Premier Grade trial, and I just cramped. I double cramped in both calves, and I was like, holy shit, like, I'm not prepared for this. Anyway, I went to, story goes on, next week we're at South. I'm playing reserve grade. First hit up of the game, caught the ball, just did what I normally do, a little in and away, and boom, ankle snapped, gone. So broke my fibula, dislocated my ankle, straight up to the Mater Hospital, in surgery the next day, screw in my ankle. The orthopedic surgeon comes out and says, mate, we've put you in a temporary cast. You're going to be in temporary cast for 2 weeks. Then you've got to come back, get a full cast. It's 12-month recovery. You'll be back for January next year to start your pre-season. And after being in a semi-professional environment up until that year with the Devils, it was sort of like, wow. I didn't actually put in I didn't actually train that off season. That was still my goal, but I hadn't done that. I wasn't deliberate in my actions. I hadn't set up any structures. I wasn't very disciplined or organised. But all of a sudden, not having this thing really affected me. Okay, and moving on from that, because I sort of didn't have rugby as my structure, it affected my personal life. You know, I was with a girl for about 2.5, 3 years at that time, and we split up. You know, I had a broken leg. I was feeling sorry for myself. I was on crutches everywhere. You know, being on crutches, getting around. None of these fancy wrist crutches, the full ones under your arms. It was terrible. Just get chafe up in my arms. It was hard. We lived 3 stories up in an apartment. Man, that's hard. You know, I ended up staying at home for weeks at a time, and that affected my relationships. And one day, I was sitting on the couch. One of my good mates come up to me, and he goes, "Mate, you can't just keep feeling sorry for yourself. You got to do something. You know, what do you want to do? You got to do something. You just can't do this." And, you know, I personally look at it, and I look back at it, and I go, wow, he wanted to help me. But I actually think, you know, when I think of it from the other perspective, he was like, "Mate, if you don't get off the couch, get out of the lounge room, I'm going to kick your ass out. You're going to go find somewhere else to live." But, you know, you can take those things the way you want it. And the good thing about it was, you know, I had a good look at myself, and I thought, shit, you know, I want to make it. I want to make it. I want to play the best footy. I want to give myself an opportunity. I want to get a professional contract. I want to make it. And then I look down, and I'm like, oh shit, I still got a broken leg. Okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do to achieve the goal that I had just set out and had this epiphany and gone, shit, I want to make it, but I've got a broken leg. How am I going to do this? And it's actually really weird. It's very simple. Basically, I sat down and said, okay, well, what's the biggest thing I need to do to be a good rugby player? I need to be fit. Okay, what's the hardest thing in a rugby game that you do? You get up off the ground. Get up off the ground 100 times a game. And, you know, it's funny how 20 years after the fact of your dad telling you, you got to do push-ups, you got to do push-ups, you got to do push-ups, all of a sudden I've gone, shit, I've got to do push-ups. So I basically started, and I go, you know what my action's going to be? You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do 100 push-ups every evening while I'm watching TV. And initially it was hard, man. I'd do about seven push-ups, and then I was dead. You know, 10 minutes later, I'd do 5 push-ups. I was doing 20, you know, lots of 5 push-ups. But I'd said that's what I was going to do. I'd planned when I was going to do it, and I was going to do it. And that was my action. All of a sudden, you know, it turns into lots of 10s, turns into lots of 15s, turns into lots of 20 push-ups. You know, by the end of it, by 3 months in, still had my cast on. I had one leg in the air pumping out 50 push-ups at a time. You know, it got so good that I go, okay, I'm fit enough to do this. Okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? Okay, one of my good mates, the good mate I was living with, he had 30 kilo dumbbells. So, okay, sweet. So I did 100 push-ups, 100 dips, and I'd use the dumbbells to do standing on one leg with no crutches, do bicep curl, shoulder press. So I was doing these 3 exercises, and I was getting pretty good at it. I was just like, wow, you know, look what I did. Just with a little bit of structure, a goal, being deliberate in my action, knowing what I wanted to achieve, I did this. And I was like, okay, I'm doing good. What else can I do? So I sat down with my roommate and I said, mate, okay, you know, 12 months ago, My coach told me I got to lose some weight. It's going to help me with my foot speed. You know, it'll get me to Premier Rugby. So straight away, I've gone, oh, okay, sweet. I've got to work on my weight. Okay, still need protein. I eat way too much rice. Okay, let's cut out the rice. What can I eat? Steamed veggies. Sweet, I like steamed veggies. Let's do that. So once a month, we'd go out, Jackie Purcell's down the road. Shout out. Please sponsor Iconz if you're listening, Jack Purcell. Sweet. We'd go out once a month and we'd go get 2 kilos of steak, a big nice rib fillet, get that sliced up into 20-25 slices. We'd go get a couple of kilos of chicken breasts. Last us the whole month. We'd sort it out. We'd cook curry chicken and veggies, fried chicken and veggies. We'd have steaks with veggies for lunch. We'd get steak with just peas. I'd put a little bit of gravy, a little bit of salt and pepper because I'm not that random. But it worked. It was crazy. I was going, holy shit! I'm getting stronger. I'm getting leaner. My leg is wilting away because I've only got one leg, and mate, it was like my arm was my leg. It was so skinny, but it was working, and it was really simple because the reason why it was working was because I had a plan, because I knew what I wanted to do. I knew that if I did these things, if I was deliberate in my actions, and I would achieve what it is that I wanted to do. And I ended up maintaining this simple process until I was back on my feet. I was doing push-ups. I started doing single leg squats because I was feeling quite good. And then I went and had to have my second surgery, get my screw removed. And then I was back on my feet. And oh wow, that was a whole nother thing altogether. Learning to walk again. I had to go see the physio, and the physio was like, okay, your ankle's not in the right spot. She put my leg in a vice in between a pole, put my toes against the pole, put the vice together, started squeezing, and my leg had to bend in towards the vice to get that ankle movement again. And oh wow, that was the most excruciating thing that I ever did. She then gave me some exercises. I had to do double calf raises. I had to do 3 sets of 12 of those 3 times a day. So I was like, oh, sweet, that's easy. That's another deliberate action. I can just put that in with while I'm watching TV at night. I've already organised my food around that. Sweet, all I've got to be is just be disciplined, add it to the structure. Boom, so I started doing that. And it's funny because all of a sudden, I'm doing this exercise, even though I've only got one leg. I'm eating well. I've lost all this weight. I'm about 93 kilos, the lightest I've been since year 10. And Ryan Purcell, if you're listening, not since I was 12 years old, mate. It was since grade 10 when I was about 16. And I was like, wow, I'm doing this. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, I get a call from a rugby coach going, hey mate, I understand you were injured. I'm doing something new. I'm looking for some dedicated people to come join our program. And I was just like, wow. I didn't do anything untoward. I didn't do anything out of the ordinary. I wasn't on Facebook selling myself. I wasn't calling coaches going, what's going on? And I got this call saying, come play for us. We'll do what we do. You'll get a second chance. So I was like, okay, sweet. Well, pre-season starts in 6 weeks. I got 6 weeks to get this leg working. Went back to the physio. I got 6 weeks to get this leg working. They're like, okay, well, you can't even do a single leg calf raise at the moment. You need to do a single leg calf raise before you can even do anything. So for the next 2 weeks, I'm like, shit, I got to do a single leg calf raise. That is the only goal I have. A single leg calf raise. It was hard, man. I had to throw that in the structure, kept doing what I was doing, maintain everything else, make sure I can do a single leg calf raise. And it's funny because as I sort of getting to that 5-6 week point and I went for this job interview and I'm like, oh yeah, this place is all right. And I get a job and I'm like, holy shit. Wasn't even looking for a job and I got a job. And it turns out it was a really good job. Paid really well, good hours, helped me, allowed me to play rugby, allowed me to go to training when I need to go to training. I'd come in 7 o'clock, work to 2:30. It was brilliant. And it was amazing because, it was just being deliberate, being structured, being really well organised, being disciplined in everything that I do. And all of a sudden, all these things around me were just going so well. And I just thought, wow, this is amazing. It was actually coming up to my 21st birthday, which was just before preseason starts. And, me and my mates, we had a barbecue in the park, had all my friends there, they brought food. It was great. All of a sudden, just with deliberate actions to achieve my goal playing football, I had this job, paying me money, something I never had before because I was a uni student and I was broke, trying to play rugby, chasing that dream. I was fit. I was just getting back on my feet. I was feeling good. I was slim. I was like, wow, man, check this out. Boom. Didn't quite have a six-pack. Never had a six-pack, but, it is what it is. And all my friends, my friendships, it was awesome. I felt like they were more meaningful. I felt that I had better friendships at that time than I'd ever had before. It was just like, wow. Just from being deliberate, chasing a goal, putting everything in line. And, things were happening for me. And anyway, I'm starting to ramble a little bit, so I'll sort of tie this all back together. I went on, I had a really great year. I played all 18 games, Premier Grade that next year. All 18 games, Premier Grade, every minute of every game. I captained the last 3 games of the season. We only won 1 or 2 games that season, but it didn't matter. I'd achieved my goals. I felt like I was contributing positively to that team. And myself as a player, I was, at that point in time, I was probably the best I could be. We played the eventual grand finalists, and I scored 2 tries playing against one of my best mates, and he ended up winning. He scored 3, I scored 2, but it was a really good game, and I was just like, wow, this is what it's about. Everything was onwards and upwards at that point in time, simply because I had deliberate actions, simply because I was just sitting in this structure. I'd organised my meals, organised my day. I was working. I had training here. I had a really good organisation, and I was disciplined with everything I did. Everything was leading towards that trajectory. Now, I'm not. I can't tell you that I made it. I can't tell you that I made Super Rugby. Can't tell you that I made NRL. But, I don't have an excuse for not making it. I don't go, okay, well, I could have, I would have, I should have. I just didn't. And it is what it is. And for me, I probably made mistakes and failed at other points in my life to not get that opportunity. But at the end of the day, when you put it all out there and you go, I'm going to do it, and I dedicated 24 months of hard, fully disciplined, killing it, did everything I could to make it, and I didn't quite make it. It is what it is. But with deliberate actions, all these other meaningful things came my way. Good job, good relationships, good rugby, felt good about myself. everything was going well. And it's a really good point that I tell all my players that I deal with now. Mate, you might do every single thing right. You might not do anything wrong, ever. You might be that guy that ticks every single box. I went across, I ticked every box. I made it, I did everything right. I did what the coach said, I ate right. My diet was right, I trained hard. I played for the right teams, I did this, I did that. And you might still not make it. You know, it's a 1 in 100 industry. 1 in 1,000 even. There's 16 teams full of under 20s players right now who, you know, in a couple of months aren't going to know if they're going to be NRL players or not. They've all, you know, it's very likely that most of them have done the right thing, but they might not make it. They've had deliberate actions. But it's about saying, okay, well, I did everything right. There's no excuses from me. I just didn't make it. But I guarantee you that all those people who have made all those deliberate actions, that have done everything right, they're going to come out as great people. They're going to be great contributors to the community. They're going to be great business people. They're going to be great community people. They're helping out their family. They're helping out their friends. They're doing this. They're doing that. And these are some of the lessons that you need to take away from playing rugby, going to school, getting a good job, take back to your community, do well for your community. These are the types of things that you need to do. And although I might be talking about making it on the rugby field, you can do this and put this to life, you know. I never thought I'd own a house. I own a house. Well, technically the bank owns it, but I own it. As long as I keep paying my mortgage, I own it. You know, we've got a nice car, happy. Got 2 dogs, happy. You know, I'd like to see my family more. I go back there every couple of years. Shout out to Mickey McLean up in Darwin. Thanks for watching, bro. You know, catching up with family in Darwin and Broome. I'd like to do that more. And I'm being deliberate in my actions right now, trying to achieve those goals of trying to see my family more, trying to provide for my family. Everything I do right now, going from my job in the city down here to Iconz Training Centre to do this video, is about being deliberate in my actions and trying to achieve my goals that I've now set for myself. But once again, I've sort of got off the track a little bit, and really, it's just simple. It's really simple. Deliberate action, create your structure. I'll give you an example. If I'm trying to be a better rugby player and I can't pass, start with finger grip. That's your foundation, finger grip. Start doing some Shazams, passing the ball. Then hip thrusters, elbows, arms. I'm building my structure. When am I going to do this? Yes, Dario, this is aimed at you. But that's only part of it. Rome wasn't built in a day. You can't just go, oh sweet, I worked on my pass, I'm going to make it at rugby. It doesn't quite work that way. There's multiple things. So it's really important. Set that goal. What is it you're trying to achieve? Make sure you have deliberate actions on that course towards that goal. Set your structure, be organised, be disciplined the whole time, and you'll probably find that everything in your life starts to turn around and be better. It goes a long way. But yeah, that's all from me today, folks. It's really important. Remember to be great. Come visit us here at Iconz Training Centre, 432 Boothby Street. Greatness starts here. And just to cap it all off, I like to finish with a quote. And it's a little bit about being deliberate. It's from Benjamin Franklin. He's on the American $100 bill. And it's real simple. For every minute spent organising, an hour is earned. I use this on a Monday and a Wednesday night. I've got coaching on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Mate, iron that shirt, get that clothes ready, get my lunch ready, boom. I get to sleep in. Don't have to get up and iron that shirt. It's already there, ready for me when I get out of the shower. Then I'm out of there. Anyway, be great, be good. Iconz, we out.